loading up right now. Okay. So, Kiwi, let me know if you can hear it on YouTube. I think I see the little mic thing doing something. So, let me know if you can hear me. And we'll start over. Okay. All right. Kiwi said 1 sec. And then we'll try again. Okay. So, mic check on YouTube. You guys let me know if you are able to hear me. And then we'll start over. Because I need you guys to get today's lesson. So somebody drop something on the chat on YouTube and let me know if you're able to hear. Drop something in the chat on YouTube. Okay. She said, yes, you're good. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. So, all right. Perfect. All right. So sorry about that, guys. I have no idea what happened, but it is what it is. Okay. So let's get back into it. You guys can hear it on YouTube now. Excellent. So let's start over. So what I was saying was, as I was thinking about today's lesson that I wanted to share with you guys around the number one lesson that I've learned since being a plant-based vegan and being a plant-based health coach, I started thinking about business, and I started thinking about what is required to influence somebody's decision-making when you're trying to convince them that your approach to doing something, when you're trying to convince them that they should buy your product or service. There are typically two approaches that you can take when you are trying to influence somebody's decision-making in business, okay? And the first approach that you can take when you're trying to influence somebody's decision-making in business is the cost of inaction approach, right? And so when you're trying to convince somebody that your way is one of the best ways to do things, you can tell them their cost of inaction, right? And so you can tell them, you can talk to them about what could potentially happen if they don't take you up on your offer. That's the cost of inaction. But then the other option when you're trying to influence somebody's decision-making in business is that you can tell them the ROI, the potential return on their investment, right? And this is what can potentially happen if they do say yes to you. If you're trying to convince them of a plant-based vegan lifestyle, what is the potential if they do take you up on that lifestyle, right? And those are typically the two approaches that you have when you're trying to influence somebody's decision-making. Here's what could happen if you don't say yes to me. Here's what could happen if you do say yes to me, right? Those are the two broad categories. And so when I was thinking about the number one lesson that I've learned since being a plant-based health coach, since being a plant-based vegan, I was thinking about what it takes to influence somebody's decision-making in order for them to live optimally healthy, right? And when I was trying to break it down, I realized that the number one takeaway I think I've personally had from a life lesson standpoint since being a plant-based health coach, a plant-based vegan is this: people are significantly more motivated by the joy of living as opposed to the fear of dying. People are significantly more motivated by the joy of living as opposed to the fear of dying. That is the number one lesson my work has taught me in nearly 10 years. Like what people have mistakenly done in the past when they're trying to convince someone to eat right, to exercise, to drink water, to give up the sugar, to give up the oil, to give up the salt, to go vegan, whatever it is they try and motivate them with fear. Right? Here's what could happen. You could catch cancer. You can die young. You can be diabetic. You can be overweight. But that is not what motivates people the most. The thing that motivates people the most is the joy of living. It's the joy of living. And so when I was kind of thinking about this, I was thinking about, and Farm to Table, my plant-based coaching program, we have an application. It used to be an application-based program. We're moving into a different version of the program now. But for many years, Farm to Table is an application-based program, right? And so people will have to fill out the application. And we had a question on there, two questions specifically that I want to address. The first is we would ask them what their health goals were, right? Like, is it weight loss? Like, what do you want to use a plant-based diet to combat? Is it obesity? Is it hypertension? Is it high cholesterol? What is it, right? What do you want to use a plant-based diet to combat? That was one of the questions on the application. And so they would tell us, they would list everything, like, oh, I'm dealing with, fibromyalgia. I'm dealing with chronic headaches. I'm dealing with chronic fatigue. I'm dealing with fibroids. I'm dealing with reproductive health issues. I'm dealing with obesity. I'm dealing with high cholesterol, right? The very next question that we would ask them on the application was, once we accomplish these goals together, what do you believe getting healthy would help you to significantly do better in your life. That is us trying to motivate them with the joy of living, right? So what most people do, like nearly all the time, I've seen this with health influencers, I've seen this with other coaches, I've seen this with other subject matter experts, is they try and convince people to take them up on their offer or buy whatever they're selling with fear-based tactics. But in the health space, and that may work in some spaces, but in the health space, people are way more motivated by the joy of living. And so when I think about like some students that we've had in Farm to Table and the way they've answered that question, like you can sometimes hear the excitement jumping off of the application, right? Like, what are you looking forward to doing once you've done lost the weight? What are you looking forward to doing once you're no longer on the medications? What are you looking forward to doing once you have energy every day now? Like, what are you looking forward to doing once we tackle these health goals for you, right? And they're inevitably like, I want to play with my grandkids. I had one student, he's like, I used to be a serious dancer. I want to get back to ballrooming again. We have people who are like, I'm going to start this business. I want to start this nonprofit. I had this one woman, she's like, I want to start a nonprofit for women who have been victims of domestic violence, right? And then you guys know my favorite, when people say, I really want to use my gift to help other people. Shout out to Radical Obedience. And so the joy of living, the potential, the ROI of taking us up on our offer to try a plant-based diet, to try a sugar-free lifestyle, because they are motivated by what they could potentially live and what life could potentially look like once they feel well enough to do so, right? And that is so important. And so why am I telling you guys this, who's going to be joining me in this challenge in less than 24 hours? Because as Doreen so beautifully quoted me in the Facebook group yesterday, there ain't no deregistration button. It's too late. Like y'all, all 584 y'all are already locked into this, okay? So there is no deregistration button. So the thing I want you to take away from this number one lesson, which is people are more motivated by the joy of living than the fear of dying, is I need you to start getting crystal clear, i.e., I need you to start visualizing what life has the potential to look like once we get the weight off of you. What life has the potential to look like once you're off medications. What does life have the potential to look like once you have enough energy every day? What does life have the potential to look like when you're no longer insecure of the body that you carry around every day? Like, what does life have the potential to look like when you are no longer going to doctor's appointments, when you are no longer selling your time, when you can no longer have to spend money on medications, when you know, like, what could life look like? And let me tell you why I need you guys to do this assignment. Some of you guys have been unwell for so long. Some of you guys have been unwell for so long that you have allowed your compromised health to stop you from dreaming. This is important. This is important. Come on. Okay. Some of you guys have been know what the former. You don't even remember her or him. You don't even know like what they would do with this newfound health. Like they've been gone for so long that you have no idea what he or she is into now, what they look like now, what they sound like. Like you don't even know that person anymore. Or for some of you, you have never even been introduced to the optimal version of yourself. So here's what needs to happen in order for you to be successful in this 30-day challenge. You guys are going to have to spend some time today, tonight, tomorrow, throughout the month of June, daydreaming again. Daydreaming. Because you are way more motivated by the joy of living. Those of you who are watching right now, YouTube, Instagram, I need you to drop in the chat for me. What are you looking forward to when your health is the most optimal it's ever been? I'm not talking about you just don't have a diagnosis. I'm talking about the most optimal you've ever been. What are you looking forward to? Like what version of you, like what is she going to do every day? What is he going to do every day when you wake up? When you don't have to worry about your weight anymore. When you don't have to worry about not feeling well anymore. Like I would love to know what she is going to do. What does their day look like? It's so important, right? It's so important because shout out to Diki on YouTube said, strive to be great, leaving average alone. I'm so glad you led me into my next point, Diki, on YouTube. Let me tell you guys something. There is this space between sickness and optimal health. There's a space between what most people think is I'm either sick or I'm healthy. That's not true. It's not that black and white. What most people think is that there's, only two options when it comes to health. I'm either healthy or I'm sick, and that's not it. Here's the most dangerous place to be. Some people are like obviously sick, right? Medications, in and out of the hospital, whatever it is, right? Medical equipment. But then you have a group of individuals who are not optimal, but they're not classified as sick. That's what I call the messy middle, right? I used to call it the waiting room, all right? But I done got kinder as I've aged, okay? So now we call it the messy middle. This means this is the space where you're well enough to do everything you want to do every day, but you're not optimal enough to live out your daydream. I'm not sure, Kiwi. I think that might have been a bar we might want to drop in the chat. Let me say it again just in case, because y'all know my divine downloads be hitting. There's a space between sick and optimal that the overwhelming majority of people live in, which means I'm not sick enough to be bedridden, right? But I'm not optimal enough to live out my daydream, right? But I'm healthy enough to take care of my responsibilities every day. And for some of you guys, because you don't have a diagnosis, you believe I'm healthy. Melissa, my doctor said all my numbers are good. Lisa, I don't have any, like, yeah, I'm overweight, but I don't have high blood pressure. I don't have high cholesterol. I don't have diabetes. Some of you guys really think because I'm overweight, but I'm not on medication, I'm healthy. It's a wild notion. It's a wild notion. You're living in this middle where you're not optimal. You don't feel your best. You're tired. You know, a lot of times you got some aches and pains, you know. You might have some stomach issues going on, whatever it is. You got painful periods, you got skin issues, but you don't count that as being sick, right? You're like, no, I'm healthy, right? So you live in this messy middle, this gray area, this waiting room, if you will, where I'm not optimal, but I ain't sick. And that is the most dangerous place to be in your health because you don't even know that you can be better. So some of you guys have not been introduced to the most optimal version of yourself. And I'm looking forward to introducing you to him or her in June. Amen. Right. And so some of you don't even realize that the assignment is being compromised because you're not optimal. You thought the bar was just being free of a diagnosis. You thought that was the bar, right? You thought that was the height. Like if I don't have a diagnosis, healthy, I'm good to go. And that's not true. So some of you guys are not going all the way with this thing because you're living in the messy middle. Does that make sense? PJ said, definitely a bar. Definitely a bar. So listen, I asked you guys a question. I said, drop in the chat for me what you're looking forward to doing when you're optimal. And listen, y'all giving. S. Robinson 48 on Instagram said, living my best life, period. Now, get a little more specific for me, S. Robinson. What does living my best life mean? Late Bloomer 391 on Instagram said, show up clear-minded and with confidence. Yes, it's something about that confidence. Let me tell you something. In Farm to Table, we tell our students that there's 3 key areas that health significantly improves. And we say quality of life, contribution to society, and confidence. So you on track, Late Bloomer. You are on track for sure. Shout out. Let me see what y'all saying on YouTube. So Karen said freedom from fear. Cynthia said showing up better for my family. Rochelle said more energy and being more positive. Yes, more positive. I want y'all to know that food actually influences your mood. It really does. And so your outlook on life, your mood, your disposition, your patience with other people significantly changes when you really put whole, healthy things in your body that don't have a lot of neurotoxins in them, right? What we call things that cause hyperactivity in the body and the mind. So that's like MSG, that's like sugar, food dyes, all of that causes hyperactivity. And so it really influences your ability to think clearly and how the pace at which your brain moves, right? And so I don't know if you knew this, Rochelle, but more energy and being more positive is something that can really happen through diet, with the assistance of diet, right? Not only diet, but definitely with the assistance of diet. So I'm so happy that you guys are dropping in the chat, like what it means, what it's going to mean for you, because some of you guys have been robbed of your daydream. Your sickness, your unwellness has robbed you of your daydream. Your unwellness has robbed you of your daydream. You're at a point, you've been overweight so long that you've completely put on the shelf that vision of you speaking in front of big crowds, right? You shelved it because you're just like, I'm just too insecure. I'm just too, like, I don't like the way I look. I hate seeing myself on camera, right? Some of you guys have been unwell for so long that you have put the assignment on the shelf. So I need to make sure you guys understand that you're going to be more successful, not when you think about, oh my God, I got to do this because I could potentially end up with Alzheimer's if I don't stop eating sugar. I could potentially end up with type 2 diabetes. The doctor said I was pre-hypertensive, pre-diabetic, and that could happen if I don't eat like Lisa said. Don't think like that in June. Don't even let your mind go there. You're going to be motivated by the joy of living. So I want you to think about, man, I can't wait to service those women who've been victims of domestic violence with my nonprofit. I cannot wait to help the children. I cannot wait to help seniors. I cannot wait to write that book. I cannot wait to climb that mountain. I can't wait to find the love of my life. Like, those are the things you need to show up for. Some of y'all done stop dating properly, settling for nonsense because you're so unwell. You don't even feel worthy. So we need to reintroduce daydreaming into our regimen. Does that make sense? Somebody put that in chat. Reintroduce daydreaming into our regimen because now we're on track. Karen said, I'm looking forward to boundless energy, active in social activities, better decision making, enjoying activities I formerly participated in, like dancing, letting go of things and circumstances that don't serve my goals. Okay, period. All right, come on, premeditated thought. I love it, right? This is so important. Lorene, shout out to Lorene, been on live all week with me. Lorene on Instagram, she says, I'm looking forward to consistently active daily, clear mind, focus on the future and physical well-being as well as current, promote a healthy lifestyle. Lorene says, I want to be a catalyst for somebody else. I love it here. So that's what's important to know, because listen, we're going to get out of the messy middle. We're going to get out of this gray area. So what you guys call healthy, I call the gray area, the messy middle, right? Because healthy in general, how most people define it is, I just don't have a diagnosis. So I'm healthy, right? And for me, that's the low-hanging fruit. That's the cost of entry. Like, waking up every day without a diagnosis is the cost of entry. Like, I guess we could call that healthy, but that's not what I'm the most proud of. I'm most proud of being optimal. I'm most proud of the distance I put between myself and a disease. See, some of y'all don't have a diagnosis, but y'all ain't far from it. Now, I'm not about to get shady. But I will say, okay, we are not the same, okay? Some of y'all right. Y'all not on medications. Your doctor said you was good, but I'm going to be honest with you, you about a point or two away. You about a point or two away. So for me, optimal is like, what's the distance between me and the potential of being unwell? Like, I work hard every day to widen the gap between me and any type of illness, physical, mental, or emotional. Every day, the reason I only do what I'm called to do for a living, even though it's scary as hell some days, is because I know obedience is rewarded by God, right? I know obedience is rewarded by God. Therefore, I know every day that I'm obedient, I'm putting myself further and further away from things like depression and unfulfillment and unhappiness, because being obedient makes me happy. Does that make sense? So you calling yourself healthy. Like, Lisa, you ain't got a diagnosis. I ain't got a diagnosis. We are the same. No, we not, boo-boo. We are not the same. If we was to look at those biological markers, we are not the same. Okay. No, what's the distance between us and something else happening? You feel me? Okay. Michelle on Facebook said, that's the bar. Obedience is rewarded by God and is. I wake up every day to please God. I'm like, how many people can I serve today? How many people can I get healthy today? How many people can I drop a bar on and shift the perspective for them today? Right. And that's how I need you guys to be thinking. We are more motivated by the joy of living than we are of the fear of dying. All right. So don't my mission is not to scare you guys into submission in June. Like, I'm not going to come to class every week and start telling you guys about all the things that can happen if you eat one more piece of chicken, if you have one more slice of cheese, if you have one more sugar. Like, that's not my intent. I want to tell you guys all the things that can happen if you don't. I want to talk about how clear your mind is going to be, and you no longer have writer's block or creator's block, and you can finally get that book birthed. Right? I want to talk to you about how I travel seamlessly and I feel good when I do. I want to talk to you about the stages I stand on in confidence, and I'm not mentally distracted by my body and what I look like. That's the things I want to excite y'all about. Does that make sense? And that's what I want you guys to be excited about. It's super important. So I think I'll conclude by saying, what time is it, Kiwi? Oh, snap. Oh, shoot. Okay, we got 1 minute left. I think I'll conclude by saying this. Some of you guys need to increase your proximity to me. Okay. Okay. Some of you guys need to significantly increase your proximity to me and the coaches inside of the challenge. Okay. Listen, we got 580 something people registered for this 30-day vegan challenge that starts at 7 a.m. EST on June 1st. Okay. First of all, if you're not registered, get registered. Quit playing with this thing. Second of all, some of you guys need to increase your proximity to us. And so what that means is you need a VIP ticket. Some of you guys need to be in a Zoom room. You're not waiting from YouTube. That's too far away. Okay. Some of you guys need to be in the Zoom, need a one-on-one coaching session with me. Some of you guys need the 40-page you guys for VIP. Like some of you guys need to increase your proximity because between optimal and sickness is too short. We need to widen the gap. Okay. So some of you guys need to increase your proximity. Yesterday, what did we talk about, guys? What did we talk about? Somebody dropped a reminder in the chat. What was my topic yesterday? What was yesterday's lesson all about? It was all about the mind, specifically thinking in what? Let's talk about it. Some of you guys need to increase your proximity because you're thinking in lack, period. Some of you guys need a team of coaches that knows your name. Like we need to see your name on the screen in the Zoom room. We need to know your issues. And most importantly, we need to know your daydream. Right. And so some of you guys need to go ahead and move up to the front row. Kiwi done beat me to it on Instagram. Move up to the front row. Move up to the front row. Quit playing with that thing. And those of you guys who have general admission, you'll be losing access to the portal tonight at midnight. Right. Tonight at more specifically 11:59 p.m. EST. You'll be losing access to the portal. So some of you guys need to increase your proximity. You need to retain access to the portal. You need that workbook, right? You need to be in the Zoom room with us. And most importantly, you're going to need access to the replays. Because let me tell you something. If my lives from this week are any indicator about how on fire I'm about to be all the month of June, you're going to need them replays. Okay. So some of you guys, in order to come get this health, you need to go ahead and upgrade to VIP for the challenge. It is what it is. The VIP is $97. I'm not saying that's a little. I'm not saying that's a lot. Because remember, expensive and affordable are not real numbers. But I will tell you, if you know your health isn't optimal, if you're really ready to really get to work for June 1 through June 30th, then you need to move up to the front row. You need to move up to the front row. It is what it is. Right? It is what it is. And so I need you guys to think seriously about what is my daydream? What have I let my health rob me of thinking about? In other words, how has my health become more of a liability than an asset? Okay. And let me tell you how you know your inability to do the things you want to do is an indicator that your health is a liability. Your inability to show up on assignment is an indicator that your health is a liability. Your inability to move seamlessly through your day, your task, both your desires and your necessities is an indicator that your health is a liability. So we need to toggle that over. We need to move your health from a liability to an asset. It's imperative at this stage. Right. And so some of you guys need to increase your proximity to myself and my team, and you need to move to the front row. Some of y'all just need to get registered. Right. So depending on the distance between you and sickness will determine what decision you need to make. Either way, we're going to rock out. Either way, we're going to rock out. We'll be live here on my YouTube channel tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. EST for session one of the challenge. And I'm super excited. Guess what tomorrow's session is called? Y'all know I've been talking about mindset all week long. Tomorrow's session is called Believe This, Not That. Believe this, not that. So I got some beliefs that I'm going to shift for y'all tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. EST, right back here live on my YouTube. Or if you're already VIP inside of the challenge, you'll be in the Zoom room with us and we'll be doing a live Q&A with you guys at the end of the general session. So make sure if you need to move up to the front row, don't be playing because we need to be motivated. Terrence dropped it in the chat on YouTube. I know Terrence be listening. Where his notes at? Shout out to Terrence. Motivated by the joy of living versus the fear of dying. So if for you, your daydreams, right, the things you were looking forward to the most have been robbed of you because you've been unwell for so long. You haven't had the energy to put the focus on that. You haven't had the mental clarity to put the focus on that thing. You haven't had the confidence to put the focus on that thing. That I need you to reach deep and reactivate the daydream. You want to know why? Because I got the rest. Surrender to me on the health side. And all I need you to do is bring the daydream to the table. And the work we're going to do together is going to make it happen. Does that make sense? Okay. So listen, first of all, a couple things. If you missed any of my lives this week, the best way to use your Friday, May 31st, is to go watch them. Okay. If you missed any of my other 4 lives, or if you missed some of this one, the best way to use the remainder of your day is to keep me in your ear. Okay. So go back, watch the replays of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday's lessons so you can have the shift that you need to be successful in the challenge. And then drink your water and set your bedtime tonight. Set your alarm to be up in the morning, okay, on time. Get up in here, whether you're VIP and you're going to be in the Zoom room or your general admission, you're going to be watching live on YouTube. Come in, get ready. I'm going to kick it off strong. We starting on time. Right? Everything's going to work out. Everything's going to work out in our favor. The tech is going to work out. The mic and the audio is going to be good. God tested us today so we can be on point tomorrow. Thank you, God. Right? He let the issues happen the day before. I love him. Right? So we're going to be on point tomorrow. I'm going to be fully dressed at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., ready to rock out with y'all. And listen, if anybody needs any additional motivation to come get this work for the month of June, if you're in the Metro Detroit area, you should just come see me live on the stage this Sunday, June 2nd. Okay, I'll be at Detroit Unity Temple. We'll be screening the film that I was in called Sisters Getting Well. And then afterwards, we're going to do like a 45-minute Q&A and talk back where you can ask us anything, ask me anything. It'll be me and the executive producer of the film, Jacqueline Glass, live in Detroit this Sunday, June 2nd, 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern. It's a free event. So I'll make sure I actually drop the Eventbrite and make sure you guys have all of that. And so if you need that motivation, we'll be only 2 days into the challenge. And if you need to have a private public conversation with me, you feel me, a private public conversation, then come get what you need so we can get this work. Fair? Okay, fair. Michelle said, I'll be there. I'll see you Sunday, Michelle. Yes. Okay. Milan said, let's go. Coach Arlette said, I'm ready. I love it. Okay. So you guys got today's lesson. Shout out to Doreen, who's in the challenge on YouTube. I know she's going to go back to the Facebook group and go ahead and summate this whole live for us. So thank you in advance, Doreen, my note takers. Dr. Travis says he'll be there. Yes. I love it. So thank you guys in advance for showing up on Sunday. So far we have, I checked this morning, y'all. We got 192 people registered for the film screening on Sunday. And so bring a friend, tell a family member, tell a sister that needs to get well to come out. The film is only about 35 minutes. It's a short film. I played a small part. I had a small contribution in the film. So you'll see me on the screen and come check out the film. But then most importantly, afterwards, we're going to have a live Q&A, a live talk back, just breaking down the things you saw in the film. And I'm answering any and all questions about health, about mindset, whatever it is. So I'll be in that thing with my little number on. You know what I was thinking about last night, y'all? I was like, shoot. Because usually when I go to these film premieres, I done did a couple of them so far, right? I usually got me a nice little tight little dress on, right? Because y'all gonna get this body. But I was like, dang, we're going to be in a church this time. I was really struggling this morning. I was like, dang, we're going to be in a church this time. Okay, how can I be sophisticated, sexy, right? So we're going to figure it out. Y'all come see on Sunday. So I will see you guys tomorrow morning in less than 24 hours for day 1 on the challenge. I'm going to be on my best behavior for the first 5 minutes. You come anytime after the first 5 minutes, I'm going to be on my worst behavior. So get ready. Michelle said, got to cover them longs. I swear, because the dress I was thinking about, Michelle, man, was so short. I knew you meant legs. I figured that's what you meant. But I was like, oh, I'm gonna wear that little black. I was like, wait a minute, I'm gonna be in a church. All right, this is our last film screaming in a church. You know what I'm saying? It's our last one, right? Love you, God. So anyway, that's it. I'm rambling now. So I will see you guys Sunday or tomorrow morning or both in the challenge. Make sure you upgrade to VIP if you haven't already and you need to increase your proximity to us. It has been wonderful signing on with you guys every day this week, every morning, and dropping this health and dropping these nuggets for you guys. I hope it was helpful. Okay, so going forward, we're motivated by the joy of living as opposed to the fear of dying. We're going to reintroduce daydreaming into our regimen. We're going to watch the replay of all my lives from this week if you have missed any of them, so you can get your mind right. We're going to make sure we and our bestie is signed up for the 30-day vegan challenge, and we're going to rock out. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Bye, y'all.